Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you something from what's called Brain Gym, and it's called PACE. And it's P-A-C-E, and PACE is an acronym for positive, active, clear, and energetic. And so what PACE does is PACE is a series of 4 movements which help integrate the brain through movement to access both sides simultaneously for any project, any learning thing, any activity that you want to do, reading, writing, taking tests, anything, golf. It's all about balancing the brain so the brain gets the big picture and the details on how to do it. So the right side of the brain is more of the visual, more of the big picture, the grand picture. It's about music. It's about just the end result is on the right side of the brain. The left side of the brain is like the analytical part, the details. Like if you're going to build a house, which is on the right side of the brain, you're visualizing the house, but you need to get the lumber, the nails, all that stuff, and that's all done by the left side of the brain. And so basically you're trying to complete the big picture for anything that you do. And this exercises that I'm going to be showing you, these movements, what they do, and I'm going to explain each one as we go, they basically help integrate the brain so you're accessing both sides of the brain at the same time. So, to start, that's the simple version of it. So, I'm going to read just the top here. It says, the PACE for learning. And PACE is a series of 4 movements designed to nourish, stimulate, balance, and relax the nervous system through movement. These movements provide a pathway for accessing both sides of the brain for whole brain learning. And so what we do is we start off actually on the bottom, which is the E part, which is energy. So the first part is that we all have some water. So let's all have some water. And it's all about hydration because 70% of our body is water. So you can see that if you don't have enough water, your brain is not going to work as well. Because water transmits electricity. It's a great conductor of electricity. And our body is electrical. We are an electrical frequency. Okay? And so if you don't have enough water, it's like it doesn't send the charges quick enough. When you have enough water, it speeds up the brain where it thinks and can do things much quicker. So I'm going to have a sip. Hopefully everyone out there has some water with them. Okay. Let's see, what else can we talk about water? We need water because every biological process, chemical reaction, and mechanical action that takes place in the water, it is crucial for mental and physical performance that we have water. The blood is made of water. The lymphatic system carries the toxins away with the water. Water is essential for the proper use of protein. Most people, when they feel thirsty, they're already dehydrated. So it's like you got to just keep putting in the water to keep yourself hydrated no matter what you do. So what we're going to do is we just had some water, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next level, which is the C, which is for clarity. So E is for energy, which is the water part. C is for clarity. And so there's an exercise called brain buttons that we're going to do. So how you do brain buttons is you take your hand and you find your collarbone up here and you come down about 3 inches and you'll fall into a hole in your chest. And that's the K27. That is the end of the kidney meridian right there. And And then you're gonna take the other hand and you put it on your pico or your belly button.
Does it matter which hand you do?
No, doesn't. And sometimes you could even, it's even best to reverse them while you're doing this. And so you stimulate this point by rubbing. So you're rubbing these points, okay? And you're feeling your danchan, your belly button, your pico. And then you can reverse it just to get another balance. Great, and so that's all you have to do for the C part, the clarity. What's great about this is it stimulates oxygen to the brain. And it's really great if you're sitting at a computer for a long time and you're starting to get this foggy head. This stimulates oxygen to the brain, and it's also stimulating your water system in your body, the kidney system.
So we're actually jostling our belly?
You could, or you could just touch it or just hold it, but this is the point that you want to stimulate most,
okay.
is up on top, okay? Okay, so that's C, and then A is activity. And activity is, we are going to cross the midline of the body. The center of the body is the midline, okay? This hand is controlled by this side of the brain, and vice versa, okay? And so, if we want to access both sides of the brain, we need to cross over to the other side, okay? And you do that through movement. And the movement is we can sit. I'm gonna do it with us sitting because we're all sitting. But I'll stand up and show you what it looks like when you're standing. But what you do is you want to take your right arm and you want to pick up and touch or do the action of going toward your left knee, and then you do this. So this is what it looks like. So and what you're doing by doing this is every time you do this, you're crossing. Just like, think of your body as having a giant X on the front, and it's crossing over to the other side of the body. Okay? All right. So that's all you need to do on that. And if you're standing, this is a cross crawl. You do my arms are going to go one way, and my foot's going to go the other. So here I'm going to this side of my body, and my leg's going this way. So it looks like this. See, so when I do this, I'm crossing over the center of my body. So the messages in the brain keep going, go to the other side, go to the other side, go to the other side, because it has to follow what I'm doing. So that's called cross crawl, which is the same thing that you're doing when you're doing this. The last part,
is one better than the other, or are they both equal?
if you could stand and do it, it's better.
Okay.
But some people are unable to stand, they lose their balance too easily, especially when you're twisting back and forth. So for the elderly who can't stand or have a problem with their balance, I would say sit down. But people that can do this, great, do it. And it's also good if you could turn your head also. And another advanced thing is to put the tongue on the roof of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
See, because then you're connecting the meridians. Okay? Because this is the conception meridian, which ends right here. And the governing starts here, comes up around the head, and it ends here. So that's the meridian system.
Talks about the tip of your tongue. Drunvalo talks about the tip of your tongue being like most important.
Yeah. If you take your tongue and touch the roof of your mouth, then you're connecting the meridian together. Wow. So it's one big meridian. Mm-hmm. So that's a little detail. Okay. So now we're going to do what's called P, which is for positive attitude, and this is the one that stimulates everything. This is the most important one, I think, because what it does is it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the brakes and the calming part of the nervous system. It stimulates that versus the sympathetic, which is the hit the gas, let's go, we got stuff to do, But your body needs a balance. If we're always doing, and we don't relax, what'll happen? You just spend all your energy. you need to be able to recharge. So we're going to recharge by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is more of the calming, quieting part. So what you need to know is that when you're under stress, you will always go to your dominant brain side. Meaning that, okay, I got to figure out what I got to do here to fix this, versus, oh, I'm not sure what to do because I don't know where we're going with this whole idea. And so that's, people are, when they're in this place of confusion, they can be confused on the right or the left side of the brain about how do you do it or what are we doing. You got to get the big picture. So, in order to do that, we want to make a lot of crosses over to the other side of the brain to do this, to balance the parasympathetic nervous system. So, how you start off is you first go like this with your hands, and that's what's on this other page over here. See, I gave a little definition of the cross curl and the brain buttons. Now we're doing what's called Cook's hookup. Now, these pictures are in a chair, and it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit different, because here they're doing something with the feet, and we're not going to do that. So this here I just made up. This is what we're going to be doing today, okay? It's Cook's hookup. And how you do it is, you go like this, okay? So, I don't know if you know, but when you do this, the bones inside of your arm actually cross over. Okay, so that's a crossover that happens in your brain too. So you're doing this, now you're crossing again, you're crossing over to the other side. So we have we have an X, you see? Okay, so we're crossing over there. So that's another switch in the brain, left, right. Then you take your fingers, you go like this, so all the fingers are crossing over. And the brain is monitoring all this. Then you pull up like this when you're crossing again, and you put your hands on your chest like this. And if your wrists hurt, you can just do this. For some people, if they have arthritis, they can't do this. But if you can, you do this. Then you take your ankles and you cross your ankles. So now you have all these crosses going on, okay, to get to the other side. And so now it's like you're hugging yourself. So this puts you in a parasympathetic mode. This relaxes the nervous system. If you're stressed about anything, this is a great position to get into because it relaxes you, calms you down. Kids are out of control. Teach them pace. Kids love to do this because they can feel the difference and it actually relaxes them. You're watching a scary movie, you do this. If you're really stressed about doing any job or task, you do this. It just calms you down and allows you to access both sides of the brain. That's the advantage, okay? And so this is part A, all of this that we just did is part A. And part B is you uncross your ankles, and it doesn't make any difference right over left, left over right. Then you put your fingertips together. So this is where left meets right, okay? Okay, so we got that. And let's see, and that's pretty much P.A.C.E, doing that, okay? Now, if I was doing what's in on the paper here, you're doing sort of similar, the same thing. What you're doing is you're crossing one leg over the other, and then you cross your hands and you put them like this. And so you're doing the same thing. This is for people who really can't stand or have to sit in a chair a lot of times. Or you could be in a meeting and you could have your hands like this under the desk and no one knows you're doing it. And you just, it's a trick. Okay? So there's that. And then you do this, you cross over and you do it on the other side. And so your hand, so you have to have an X here, you see? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then the second part is you just do this and do this. So my friends, that is P.A.C.E. You've now learned P.A.C.E. And this is something that you could use for the rest of your life for any task you wanna do. It just helps you focus, and it uses your whole brain to make a decision about anything.
So it's to get on focus and to have clarity, correct?
Correct, and to take action.
And how long is the duration for each one? Or is it 5 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes?
Well, you can tune into however long you wanna feel. This, I find, is best to do the longest, and I'd say if you did this for 30 seconds to a minute, that's all you need to do. You don't have to sit there for 20 minutes.
Okay, and once it's good enough, or do you go back to this and do it again?
Well, it depends. If you're doing the project and all of a sudden you get a little bit confused, just go back and do it again.
Got it.
You see? And you can do it when you first wake up in the morning and before you go to bed, so you're balanced when you wake up and you're balanced before you go to sleep. And that's a good thing. And there is one other thing you can do when you're doing this. You can undo your first 2 fingers here, and you put them right here.
Oh, wow.
And this is called positive attitude balance. And you'll notice that if you have a problem about something and you're thinking about it, you think about the issue, by doing this, all of a sudden the problem seems to like fade away and it's hard to focus on it. Because it just balances this is the emotional eminences. So this balances your emotional body. Those 2 points. So if you do this, so now you're balancing your physical body by doing this, parasympathetic nervous system, and then this balances your emotional body here like this. And you just breathe until you feel it dissipate and not as much of a charge and you're done. So it's very simple. The whole thing takes less than 5 minutes.
This is so wonderful, and I'm gonna put this in front of my computer on the wall,
There you go.
or up a little bit, so I'm not above the screen.
Yeah.
Cause, yeah, clarity, focus.
Yeah.
I spent a whole year saying focus is gonna be my focus.
Well, this will help you focus because you're gonna use both sides of your brain. So thank you, everybody.